Good morning, Biscuit Land. How's it going? It's Tara. I hope you're all good. I hope you're all good and you're having a nice day wherever you are. The sun is shining here in Dublin. It's a great day. My 2-year-old slept. I am buzzing today. Um, and I want to actually take 5 seconds to give a very big shout out to a lady who saved my balls yesterday. I did a one-to-one with a brilliant designer. Her name was Eleanor, and Eleanor and myself were on a one-to-one. She had just joined the Biscuit Factory, which I'm delighted that she has joined the Biscuit Factory, and we were on our one-to-one. And as one-to-ones go with me, we talked a lot and of course we shared a lot of things about both our businesses and our lives. And a big thing that came up for me, of course, was my son, and he's 2, and how he was just not sleeping very well and not going to bed, and just being 2, and she has 4 children, so I obviously went straight in, tell me stuff. And she did, and it worked. So I am saying, Eleanor, I love you. Will you marry me? Anyway, this led me to, as I sat down this morning thinking about what I wanted to bring up today, and it was quite timely actually, because it's a topic that has riddled my brain, and definitely as I talk to other entrepreneurs, especially women. I'm not saying this is not both for male and female, but especially mammies or moms or mummies or your one or the slave or whatever you want to call yourself. It comes up a lot, and it's mommy guilt or mammy guilt, right? And it's something that I struggled with for a long time. And I have some tips that I use on how I not get over it, because I don't think you'll ever get over it. It'll always kind of be there, and specifically at different times during the life of your children. But specifically when you're trying to build a business and trying to run a successful business, not a hobby, not something that you're just playing with, that you're actually taking your creative work seriously. And because you're just building, the revenue isn't coming in. And so you're multitasking as mammy, running the house, because that's a job in itself, running the WhatsApp groups, i.e. 20 WhatsApp groups with all your kids stuff in there and family stuff, running the school stuff, the friends, the play dates, the after school, all the things that you have to manage as a carer, whether you're male or female, as a carer, and trying so passionately and so hard to build that business, to have that carve that out in your life for you, that place where you have to sit for your fulfillment. What, me? Am I a person in this? Am I really relevant, or am I just the person making this whole thing work? Where do I come on that ladder? And I know a lot of you guys really struggle with that, because it's the time element. How am I going to build a business with feckin' 2 hours in the morning, really like to sit down and work on my stuff? How am I going to do that? Then it's the guilt of, well, okay, I'm going to sort out some childcare maybe for 2 days a week. I can manage that with our home income to enable me to build, And then there's the guilt that comes with this. And I think a lot of not everybody agrees or understands or gets the necessity for people that are really passionate about what they do. They don't get the importance of giving and carving out that time in your life for your work. And they believe that your kids come first. Of course they come first. That your kids come first before everything else. And there are people, and I respect everybody's opinion, and you live the life that you feels right for you. But I feel very strongly, from my perspective, and not everyone will agree with me, and I'd love to hear both sides of the story, and different opinions. I love healthy banter around topics like this. I really feel strongly from my journey to date, because there's a shitloads ahead of me for sure, just like you. I really feel really passionate and really strongly about this, that if I did not carve out the space for me as an individual, not a mother, not a wife, not a sister, not a friend, just me, if I didn't carve that space out for me to really zone in on what I wanted in my life, because guess what? Tick fucking talk. We don't have loads of time, gang. And why wait? Wait till the kids grow up, till they're 25. Yeah, how old will I be when my son is 25? Good luck. Reinvent the wheelchair, is it? You know what I mean? Why wait? But the guilt is real and it's not always workable. But I feel passionate about not dissing that passion and not underestimating the value of females, especially carving their own space out in their lives. Why should we not? Yes, kids, of course, are the priority. But that's what I want to talk to you about this morning, how we think of priority and how we prioritize. What does that look like? And I'm going to share, how many points do I have? I'm going to share the 6 things. I was thinking about them this morning, going, okay, what are the things that I do? These are the 6 things that I kind of categorize when I deal with how I run my family, how I deal with that mother guilt of giving myself that gift. No, I don't think it should be a gift. I think it is a necessity for my mental health, and that's what I want to talk about this morning. So this is something that is important to discuss, right? And please let me know in the comments if you are struggling with this, or if you get that guilt, and how many times a week do you get it? Or is it or have you managed to manage it in a way that it doesn't affect your judgment or how you feel about you as a parent? And this is for the dads as well, because I know there's a growing number of stay-at-home dads that are building their creative businesses from home. And that is there's a definite increase in males doing that. So this is not just for females, but I'm a female, and this question was asked a couple of weeks ago to me as well. And the question was, how do I deal with this? How do I stop this guilt? And the first thing I would say is, you can't stop an emotion. You can't stop it. It's how you deal with the emotion, and what you can do in a very tangible way in your day to affect that emotion, to actually alter that feeling that you're getting from the thing, which would be your children, right? So these are my 4 tips. Okay, so the first one is, when I'm running my home, and I see this, and I used to do this when I started out first. I used to have lists all over the gaff, and I still do. I use my scrum board daily, but I also use the scrum board for my home tasks as well, and some of them I integrate into my work tasks. For example, instead of totally separating my home tasks, I would, for example, when we are going on a walk, say, come on kids, let's go for a walk, let's do the thing. I would try and write, I need to do a post office run, I need to go into the bank to do this. We're going to walk our walk and integrate my work stuff into that. So I'm kind of killing two birds with one with one stone. So I integrate the two. So that enables me to, yay, I'm getting my walk in, I'm spending time with my kids, I'm walking my children, but I'm also getting these jobs done as well. And it's okay to do that. And I know a lot of the, you know, the kind of advice out there is separate. The minute you're with your kids, all you're thinking about is your kids, you know, spending time with them. Yes, I agree. But I think you have to be realistic as well and not completely ignore the things that you have to do. Instead of adding time onto your tasks with your work, if you can integrate them into your home tasky things, do it. The objective is to make use of your time in a very effective way, and so that's the first thing I would definitely advise, is you just to look at your to-do lists and see what you can cross over. If you're wondering what a scrum board is, by the way, a scrum board is, and no, I'm not going to tell you what it is because I'll be here for another 20 minutes. There is a pinned post on the Biscuit page, with a video that you can look at. Off you go, in you go, and look at me sharing the scrum board. Okay, so the to-do lists, mix them, right? So get your to-do list and try and get a few things ticked off your work list as well, and that's okay. The second one is quality over quantity. My mother always used to say this to me, Tara, it's quality over quantity. And what I found when I was moved to Dublin first, and I was with my daughter, and anyway, it was kind of a traumatic time in my life, and I was trying to build a business from the very, very start of Biscuit, and I found the guilt of minding my daughter and building a business that was taking a lot of energy and time, but I did not allow myself time away from her because I thought I had to be with her all the time. And what happened was I was so stressed and resentful of having to care for her while my husband had his career. And while I was trying to start my own career and carve out my time, I was so resentful of that. The energy and the experiences I had with my daughter during that short period that I allowed that to happen wasn't great. When I look back, God, I was so stressed and so annoyed at this situation, that, you know, once I gave myself time and organized time for her in a play group, and gave myself that time, when I was with her, it was much more enjoyable and I wasn't as resentful. So I think we need to focus on that, quality over quantity. And I think if we feel like we have to, if society is telling us you have to spend every waking minute with your kids for them to be happy, I challenge that. I think if that time is not quality time, if it is full of negative energy, how is that impacting the relationship with your child and for you? Because you're then guilty for feeling that way. Why should I feel resentful of my child? This isn't the correct feeling. I'm a shit mother. And so the guilt goes deeper and deeper and deeper. And then the resentment goes deeper and deeper and deeper. And all of a sudden you're in this black hole of crap that you don't want to be in, and that it's not necessary to be in. Why? Because people say you have to be with your kids all the time for you to be a good mother. No, you don't. Absolutely not. I absolutely agree with that. Yes, for a lot of mothers and dads that are absolutely full-time, they love it, there's no resentment, their minds are completely focused on their kids, that's their thing. Fair play, like whatever works. But if you're going deeper into that hole, and it's not good for your mental health or your relationship with your child, then stuff has to change. And it's okay to change that, and it's okay to feel that as well. So my second tip is always keep this in your head. quality over quantity. And I find that with relationships and with friendships as well, you know, like it's definitely something that I have always lived by. So thank you, Mammy, for that one. So the third tip that I have, and I love this one. I love this one. And obviously my 2-year-old is a bit small, but he's getting it. But definitely with my 9-year-old, I involve my children in what I do. I tell them what I do. When Mammy goes to work, this is actually what I do. This is the thing that I'm working on. What do you think? And I give them the space and the facility to actually get involved in the business, to have some feedback and some interaction in what I do. I think it's really a great thing to when they say, bye, Mommy, you're gone to work, or Mommy has to work, you know, you get kind of, oh, stop, Mommy has to work, you know, you have to do this now, and please color the thing, Mommy has to do this, you know. When they know what you're actually doing and the value that you're bringing to the world, then it's a lot easier for them to get it, to understand, and especially older kids. And I think even my daughter comes up with brilliant ideas for things I could talk about, events that I could run. You know, she's always coming up with ideas because she gets what I do and she's involved in it. And I think once I let her into my world, and not just I'm at work label, it worked much easier. She understood that this had to happen, and this is what was happening. So I think that's a great thing to do, is involve your children and ask them for advice. You'll be surprised at what comes. And the fourth thing, sanity. So keeping your head is always a great thing. And I guess, and this has come up a lot in the Biscuit Factory over the last while, and in the biscuit community, is just focusing on your business and trying not to always look at other people and what they do. So I think sanity is a big thing, because when you're focused, you're a lot calmer. And again, it's the negative energy thing, isn't it? So focus on your business and what you're doing, and stop trying to change your kids. You know, of course they're going to want your attention, but I think we have to, you know, not stop wanting attention. Of course you're going to want my attention, give it to them a little bit, and then explain to them what's happening. And that's what I do. I mean, everyone has their own way, but those two things for my sanity keeps me sane in those stressful, guilt-ridden moments. I'm just focusing on my business. I'm not trying to be that other person, or I'm not going to listen to all that other stuff. I'm just going to keep really focused and not try to change my kids. Go with them, love them while they're learning and making mistakes. And I think that was something that I've learned from a dear friend of mine, who's an amazing mother. And I think it's a great tip, is not to try and change your children. So that helps the sanity and helps you deal with that feeling of guilt as well, when you're more in control of how you feel about your children and your business. So that's my fourth tip. The fifth tip is something I think we underestimate as parents. I think as parents, we're continually selling. If you think about it, you're always having to be really in tune with your kids to understand what they need. And then you have to go away and package the thing that you know you have to fill their need, but make it so that they can understand it and that they'll actually want it. So if you apply your parenting skills and what you're learning as a parent to your business, you'd be surprised at how similar that is. If you think about business, you're tuned into your ideal client, what they actually need, and how you can communicate effectively so that they'll understand you have the solution for them. And it's quite similar, isn't it? So when I'm parenting and I'm negotiating and trying to package the thing, I always stop and go, okay, this is interesting. And I analyze what works and what doesn't work. And can we actually apply that to how we're communicating to our audience, to our ideal client? So being a parent actually helps you with your business in that way, I find, definitely. And it's something to pay attention to. And the last one that I want to share with you is distraction. So I know everyone gets this. You know, you're stuck on a call, or you're doing something that you have to get over the line, and the kids are there and they want your attention. And it's usually when you're stressed, or when you're really trying to push something over the line, or finish something, or on a call, that they want your attention. And I know, and I've done this myself, is not now, love, I'm busy, I'm on a call, not now. When actually I've learned to lean into distraction, and stop what I'm doing and give them the cuddle, or explain to them what's happening, and put the other thing, just stop it for 5 minutes. And that dissolves the need and the want for the child, and let them on their way. And usually you go back then to what you're doing. But I just feel our natural default is to say stop, and I'm busy, and I'm at work. And if you're after discussing with your children on actually what work means, that work label means something else. That's the first benefit. And also, so the reaction is quite different. And also, if you stop and give them 5 minutes of your time and then go back, it also has a huge impact. I really noticed that so much. So they're my 6 tips for you. Not everyone agrees with me, of course, and that's great too. I'd love to hear your opinion. I think it's an important topic, and I really, you know, I hesitated with this topic today, because I felt, oh crap, I'm going to get killed for this one. People are going to be giving out to me. How can you say that? Kids come first. You have to stay at home, blah, 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 blah. I think, yeah, cool. If that's what you're into, fantastic. I just find it very disruptive to people that can't do it. Like, not that they can't, they don't want to do it. And it's okay not to want to stay at home with your kids all the time. I'm definitely a happier human, and a much more satisfied human when I work. I've always worked. I have to work. I need it. Like, you know, it's like breathing for me. And I need my kids as well, for sure, but they don't define who I am. And I think that's a very, is it a selfish thing to say that? What's wrong with being selfish? It's hard for women to be selfish, isn't it? We're not supposed to be selfish, you see. But what's wrong with being selfish? I think the sooner we put ourselves at the top of the priority list, and we mind ourselves, and we're true to what actually is important to us, that impacts everything. Our children, our relationships, our husband or partner, or wife, our friends, our family, how we feel about ourselves, how we act with people in the street. If we're not deep in that melancholy of resentment because you're not living the life that you really want. So be selfish a little bit, gang. It's not the worst thing in the world to put yourself before everything else. So it's an interesting topic. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. And I have to say, I take my hat off to parents that are staying at home with their children and devoting their time to their children and are loving it. I absolutely jealous, yes, because I'd love to be wired like that, but I'm not. Acceptance of what you are and how you are as a person is a very big learning in life. And I think not everyone's the same, and we all have to love each other no matter what we're into, I believe. Okay, that's my my Wednesday biscuit box. I'll see you next week, Wednesday, 11 o'clock on the biscuit box. Take care, keep creative. Bye.